Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, breaking down the latest in reality TV and pop culture. How we feeling? Thursday, the week is almost over. You know, I thought my life was slowing down. It's not. It's not. I thought my life was slowing down. You know, people have told me that I'm going to have post-wedding blues. Unless you haven't been around, you know, I just had a big wedding extravaganza in June, and I haven't really had the blues. I just have had like a little bit of boredom, you know, a little bit. No disrespect to my husband who lives in the same house as me. I shouldn't be bored, but look, he's a working man. And, you know, I also am in this transition phase of my life where I just recently left my full-time job. And I think, you know, at the beginning of that transition, it was fine because I was still working, doing this and doing my socials and doing Patreon. And I was still pretty busy, but I was also planning a wedding. So I felt like I felt like I was running around with it like a chicken with my head cut off 24/7, thinking like, oh, could you imagine if I still had my job? What would I be doing? I'd be losing it. But now that I'm not having to do both of those things at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm a little bored. So what do? I start to plan our honeymoon because we haven't gone on a honeymoon yet. Technically, y'all know our year anniversary is in October. So I thought, okay, cool, let's go in October. And we're looking at either going to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. We're looking at the Riviera Maya in Cancun. And like, you know, David and I are bougie travelers. We are, it's a toxic trait. I'm just going to say it's a toxic trait because after we went to Greece, we can't go back. We can't go back to the way life was. Even if we're like sitting in different seats on the airplane. It's like one day we want to be in first class. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't have first class type of money, okay? So don't get it twisted. And even still, if I'm getting upgraded to like business, it's because I got the points. I'm not paying for it. But we're just a bit of bougie travelers, right? So we're narrowing down honeymoon options. We pick a room, we pick a place. And this has been going on for a couple of weeks now, you know, because we had no idea where we wanted to go. Decision paralysis is a big problem for me. I still have trouble picking out shampoo and conditioner at the store, even though I've been using herbal essences since 2007. I still survey the land before picking the same pink bottle that I picked for 20 years. But anyways, we pick a place, we pick a room, we're like ready to go. Get a call from our travel agent this morning. Room sold out. Between last night and this morning, 12 hours, the room sold out. And now there's like no upgrades available. And like I said, David and I are bougie and we're like, well, we're not going on our honeymoon if we don't have an ocean view. And you know, the next thing is like the presidential bungalow on the top of Mount Vesuvius. That's going to cost you $20,000 if you want to stay there, brother. We're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So send some T's and P's our ways. First world problems, trust me, I know. But we're just having a time. It's been a disaster. We did get something booked. We don't have the ocean room. We got a little tropical view. I don't know what that means. If there's a palm tree in my face, I'm going to be happy. So it is what it is. And we just got tired of spinning around on the circle. You know, that coupled with the fact that we no longer have Love Island USA is doing some things to me. You want to talk about post whatever blues? I wasn't having post wedding blues. I was having post Love Island blues. Watching The Bachelorette on Monday night was like a torture tactic. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was being waterboarded by reality TV because I missed Janae and Kenny. I missed Serena and Cordell. I missed them all. And I was stuck with Devin. I don't even know. Dylan, Devin, Aaron. I don't know these men. None of them are likable. Anyways. Some big things happened at the end of the week. Last week, which I'll tell you later for final thoughts, but let's get into it. Pop 3, biggest headlines of the week. Now, you know, last week I released the episode early. So some things happen that we haven't had the chance to discuss, like Tom Sandoval and his lawsuit and his no longer lawsuit because he has withdrawn it. So just to give you a little debrief of the situation that happened. The way I interpreted it, and people are coming for me, they're like, don't defend him. I'm not. I'm just telling you in legal terms, because I did get a DM from a lawyer, which I will tell you in a second as well. But, Rachel sued Ariana and Tom for revenge porn. She sued Tom for recording the video. She sued Ariana for allegedly sending it to people. Now, sending it to people, Ariana is denying that, but everything in court documents has said that per Rachel, Ariana sent it to Rachel to say, this is what you're doing, So Rachel's kind of using that in a little bit of a she's taking her liberty with that. Oh, you're sending it to people. She sent it to her. Did she send it to more? I don't know. However, so that lawsuit's out there. So Tom's lawyer, former lawyer, Matthew Garagos, filed a cross complaint, right? To kind of take a swing at Rachel's lawsuit. And in turn, it took Ariana down. And what Tom has come out and since said is that he didn't realize that it was going to be directed at Ariana. Okay. So he, and basically what the lawsuit was saying was that his lawyer wanted to distribute blame. It's like, remember in Mean Girls when they had the crown and she started breaking it off and throwing it, you're all queens. That's what Matthew Garagos was doing here with this lawsuit. You get 25% and you get 25% of the blame, right? So he's saying in this lawsuit, Tom cannot be responsible for what Ariana did because Tom did not give Ariana consent to go through his phone, right? We all know the story. Ariana found the video on the phone. So his lawyer is saying, look, Tom can't be held responsible for Ariana sending this video to people because he didn't give her authorization to type in the passcode, look through the photo gallery, and whatever. I mean, in my opinion, it's BS. If you are in a long-term committed relationship, how often do you have each other's phone in your hand? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I dig through David's phone because I don't really have a reason to, but if I have his phone in my hand, I'm going to look at the photo roll to see if he's got any cute ones of me, that I haven't posted yet. So people in relationships have each other's phones, have each other's passwords. That's like not a new thing. However, Sandoval quickly backtracked on his Instagram. You already know. What color was the background? What color was the text? I've trained you well. This is what he wrote. About the cross complaint in the lawsuit against myself and Ariana, he assured me that the action was customary and strictly preventative in these types of lawsuits and urged me to agree to it. I should have done more of my due diligence on the matter. Upon realizing what this action actually means, I have removed Matt Garagos from my legal team. I'm in no way suing Ariana. The action against Ariana brought on my behalf is being removed. I hold no ill will or vindictiveness towards Ariana. Now, by removing the cross complaint and the attorney who recommended it, I hope to get through this case quickly so that Ariana and I can both finally move on with our lives. And we all hear the Tom Sandoval voice in that moment. Move on. So I can both finally move on with our lives. That's how he says it. People are like, okay, this is dumb. Why, if that's the case and he didn't know, why did he deactivate his Instagram before the announcement? My question to you, and I don't know the answer. So if somebody knows the answer, let a girl know. But do we know for a fact that he deactivated it before the lawsuit came out? I only realized that he deactivated it as the headlines were going viral, right? Page 6, Us Weekly, E! News, all come out with an article. And then a couple minutes later, I searched Tom Sandoval's Instagram and it's no longer there. So like, who has the definitive proof that Tom Sandoval deactivated beforehand, right? My second, and you guys know I'm naive. I believe everything that anybody says. So if Tom Sandoval says like, I didn't realize it, then whatever. Here's what kind of makes me believe him when he says that. 2 reasons. One, why would he want to tank his public image again? There is no way, because people are like, oh, he deactivated it because of the backlash or whatever. There is no way on God's green earth that Tom Sandoval is sitting there knowing he's about to sue Ariana and thinks, oh, people aren't going to care that much. People aren't going to care. They're just going to move about their daily life. anything that Tom does in regard to Ariana at this particular moment in time is going to be like, boo, 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 tomato, tomato, tomato. Like the guy needs to go into the witness protection program at this point. So I don't necessarily see how that thought works, that, oh, he just thought that it was all going to be fine. The second reason why I kind of believe him is because I did get a DM from a lawyer. And this lawyer said, look, I understand that this is not a good look for Tom Sandoval, but if my job was to defend Tom Sandoval, if I was his defense lawyer, I would do the exact same thing. And he said in this statement, I was told that this is customary. And she told me this before this statement came out, right? I was told that this is customary. I can also imagine a world where you're going through all of these legal situations and your lawyer doesn't sit there and articulate every little minute detail. You know, like they got a lot of stuff to worry about. I don't know, maybe they do. It's kind of like a contract. Like if you've ever gotten a contract or the terms and agreement section of signing up for a news subscription, right? You know it's there. You know you're supposed to read it and understand it, but you don't. And that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. So anyways, that's just kind of what I think of it. I think it's great that he's no longer suing Ariana because she is thriving at the moment. You guys are probably going to disagree with me, but for some reason, I want to believe his explanation about this. Headline number 2 is Mauricio Umansky spotted with a new girlfriend in Mykonos. Kyle is reacting. Kathy is talking because that's what Kathy Hilton does. But let's set the scene. Last week, pictures came out on TMZ of Mauricio embracing a young actress model in Mykonos. Kissing, hugging, picking each other up at the Mykonos airport. And it then came out on Dumois that it was Nikita Khan, who is a Ukrainian-American actress, model, and entrepreneur, who has also made headlines for her past relationship with tech billionaire Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle. So of course, I had to go and sleuth on Instagram to see, is this really the girly? It's the girly. All you have to do is look at her Instagram pictures, and Mauricio is liking, he's engaging, he's there, he's in it with her, right? So Kyle had a minor public response to it, and that was removing the word wife from her Instagram bio. And even though that might be subtle, Kathy is talking. Kathy Hilton, who has no filter, is like giving a different statement out to every single news publication known to mankind. So there was an event, I believe that was filmed for Beverly Hills earlier this week. It was a fashion show that Sutton was putting on. And here are a couple different things that Kathy said. She said this to E! News. I said, it won't be the last time. There will be many, many more. I think she's fine. I think it's more about how the girls are going to take it. I said to her, you've got to get out there. If I was in her shoes after that picture, I'd be out within 3 days. So then she told Page 6, what I'm trying to do is just calm her down a little bit. You know, this was bound to happen. You've been separated. Kathy is such a big sister blabber. Like for those of you that are the little sisters and you have little sister syndrome and you know that your big sister cannot keep a secret to save her life. If I'm trying to keep anything a secret, the first person I'm not telling is my sister. And my sister, I love you. I appreciate you. You're the best big sister in the world, but I'm not telling you a secret. Because if I tell my sister a secret, within the next hour, my mom's going to know. Her husband's going to know. My 2 nieces are going to know. And they're going to be calling me, Bubba, did you get a dog? You know, like it just is what it is. I'm surprised that it's taken this long, honestly, for Mauricio to be like spotted kissing another woman. Of course, we remember he was holding hands with Emma Slater, his Dancing with the Stars partner. He was like skiing in robes in Aspen, I think, with like models. Kind of weird, but you know, to each their own. I'm surprised it's taken us this long. I know that there's an age difference, but I'm getting Scott Disick energy from Mauricio, where I do think that Kyle was the love of his life, long-term partner. There were obviously some flaws in the relationship that they tried to keep under wraps. And I personally don't think that Mauricio will ever have like a serious girlfriend again. I think he's going to be a Scott Disick, where he dates a lot of young models because he knows that a young model, well, I mean, sometimes they do, but a young model isn't going to want to settle down and have 8 children. They're going to want to go on vacation. They're going to want to go to Mykonos. They're going to want to eat grapes in the cabana. And that's the kind of life that he's living right now. I also think that people are unnecessarily harsh on Kyle Richards. You know, I've seen the comment like, oh, what did she expect? She's gallivanting around with Morgan, going to all these tours. You know, we still don't know what the heck is going on there. But anyways, what did she expect? What did she expect, Kyle? Okay, you can expect it and it still hurt. I mean, just because you expect to see something doesn't mean that when you see it, you still don't get the pit in your stomach. She's a human being. Of course, she's going to have these reactions to it. She's going to feel a certain type of way. This is her husband for 27 years. I mean, if you were with somebody for 27 years, even if it ended badly and you see them kissing somebody else, you're going to feel a type of way about it. So go easy on Kyle Richards. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about Christina and Josh Hall, because it was announced last week that they are getting a divorce after about 2-3 years of them being married. So people reported that Josh filed for divorce. The couple got married on October 6, 2021, and their date of separation is listed as July 8th of 2024 per the court documents. So the documents also state that Josh is requesting spousal support from Christina. I mean, I feel like anytime I do these like celebrity divorce, it's always he's requesting spousal support. It's like always. Anyways. They were supposed to be filming an upcoming reality show, The Flip Off, okay? And it was supposed to be with Christina's ex, Tarek El Moussa, and his new wife, Heather. And it was supposed to be Josh and Christina versus Tarek and Heather, who can make this house look the prettiest on HGTV. Well, I think it's safe to say that that's not happening anymore, but the show is going on without Josh. So Heather and Tarek have spoken out. Tarek said, life's tough. Stuff happens. Thank you, Tarek, for that. He says, we got one shot at life and we got to do what's best for us. And so whatever she needs, we're here to help. But also in this article that I read on E! News, it said that it's just going to be Christina versus the El Moussas, which is also going to be an interesting concept, I think. A source told Us Weekly that they did not have a prenup. And in court documents, like I said, Josh is requesting spousal support and an equal division of community property acquired in their marriage for that $12.6 million Newport Beach home that they purchased in April 2022. Also, any rights to the Discovery and HGTV shows that they developed, produced, or contracted during the marriage. So there you have it. Let's move on to the deep dive. Everybody knows that we have to get into Love Island USA, the season 6 finale, and all the stuff that has come out post-show. But first, let me tell you, because I'm sure you've probably noticed that there's been a little bit of a change in the deep dive. What I used to do was I used to go on my Instagram. I used to open up a little question box and say, let me know what you think. What do you want to do a deep dive about? People would write me back. Then I would pick one and I would have them send me a voice note. Here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, y'all girlies were amazing about getting back to me, but sometimes you weren't when it comes to recording the voice note. And this is how I feel. Anytime that you have to rely on somebody else to do a part of your job, I don't like it. I like having it in my hands at all times, just like being able to pick up and go and not have to ask anybody, hey, can you send me this? Hey, I need this before 2:00. Hey. Sometimes people don't read their DMs. It was just a thing. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, it was good, but there would be like that one week and I'm like, great, now I'm embarrassed because I don't have the audio ready. So here's what I want to know. Do y'all even care? Like, do you still want to pick the deep dive and I'll change it to a different format? David gave me a good idea. Or do you just want me to pick the deep dive? Or do you not care? I liked it because, leaving radio, I still wanted to have that like listener caller type interaction, but there's got to be a different way to do it because it was just driving me bonkers. So let me know in the DMs, like if you care or if you don't care, honestly. But anyways, Love Island finale and post show bombs. The finale was everything. We laughed, we cried. I was like, smiling, giggling like a little idiot watching Serena and Cordell in the back of that pickup truck. I was like cringing at Kendall telling Nicole that he loves her and her like looking like a deer in headlines. But you know what I also found interesting, and you guys know I harp on this. This is my soapbox. That finale was 2 hours long, and I was in it. I was in it. 2 hours without commercials, okay? I was in it. I was loving it. I was having the best time ever. And like did not look at my phone one single time. Do you know how long it takes me to get through an episode of The Bachelor? I have to sit down on 5 different occasions to get through one episode. So I just think it goes to show the landscape of reality TV and the world we're living in. But anyways, I've said this on my page and I'll say it again. I felt like the final dates were pretty telling. The outcome, you know, I thought that Serena and Cordell ran away with this thing when they had the family phone calls. And Kendall's and Nicole's were cute, but like I was giggling like a little idiot watching Serena and Cordell giggle and talk to their family and whatever. We had that awkward moment with the little brother, which was weird, but like I think Cordell was just nervous. Anyways, I just felt like that was the moment where they really solidified things. And their date was just out of this world. First of all, they get the nighttime date. Did you see Nicole and Kendall? They were sweating. Like, it was crazy. I was like, can somebody get them an umbrella? Like, they look like they're physically about to pass out from heat stroke in this current moment. That Miguel and Leah's was like 2 seconds long, which to me was kind of indicative of what was about to happen. Cordell and Serena's was so romantic. It was the most sentimental. And I would say Janae and Kenny's was right behind them as far as being super romantic, heartfelt. You know, I thought Janae and Kenny were runners up based on that. But, you know, the only doubt that I ever had with Serena and Cordell winning was the fact that the Leah fans, the Leah mob is crazy. Soul Ties is crazy. 2 million followers this girl has. And like, don't get me wrong, we've come a long way with Leah. I mean, I feel like if you were to ask me on episode 1 how I felt about her, and now we have come a long, long way. And I think it just goes to show you, and this is a PSA I've told you guys all the time, someone's edit is not really who they are as a person, because a producer can edit you to look any way that they want. Typically, these shows typecast people. Okay, you're the blonde. Okay, you're, you know, the F-boy or whatever. You're all these different things. So the fact that we had, I think, different layers to Leah, I really enjoyed seeing that. The big 3 were everything. I mean, Serena, Janae, and Leah made this show this season. I would also say, unpopular opinion, the Kayla and Aaron drama made this season. But anyways, I want to talk about each couple individually. Nicole and Kendall, like I said, so awkward. Oh my God, it was so awkward. When Kendall said that he loved her and she froze. And that was like the first time that I was reminded again that they are on a TV show and that it might not be as genuine as you think. Because when he said like, I love you, I thought, oh, she's going to eat this up. This is great. This is what Love Island is about, right? Finding true and everlasting love and like walking away happily ever after. And I was like, oh, her reaction is making me think that maybe she wasn't as genuine as she's like portraying herself to be. And maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe it's just all they have to do is sit in there and make out. Like they don't even have their phones. Like they're just cuddling 24/7. So I feel like they're so into each other. There's no way that they're not in love. But we see her kind of have this opposite reaction where she clams up. She gets really nervous. She gets really upset and she doesn't say it back. And my thing is like, you know, I always try to put my feet in their shoes, but, or like walk a mile in their shoes. Is that the phrase? Yeah. Anyways, not to brag, but like I've had people tell me they love me before. And when I loved them back, I was super excited about it. And when I didn't, I was super uncomfortable, you know, and it was giving super uncomfortable. And I do understand, you know, her past relationship trauma kind of played into that reaction a little bit. But to like have a pit in your stomach about it, I don't know. I was like, this is kind of a red flag. Maybe she's not as into him as we all thought. But then I knew, she had this like one comment where she's like, I'm just going to leave it all out on the paper. And then I saw that they were going last in their speeches. And I knew she was going to say it in that speech. Context clues, right? So she did, and they lived happily ever after. They got 4th place. Let's talk about the video, okay? I wasn't going to talk about this video unless Kendall talked about it, and he did. So in case you missed it, this first started on Twitter. It blew up on Twitter. And it's kind of been making its rounds everywhere else now too. But somebody leaked a video explicit in nature of Kendall. And it was as you can imagine, quickly went very viral. Huge invasion of privacy plastered all over the internet. Obviously my initial thought is, who in the world would do something like this? What a disgusting and deranged human. Second thought is, why are people doing like online reaction videos? And to me, it's almost like you can't do anything about the video being out there, right? But you can draw attention to it by tweeting disgusting things and doing a reaction video for views. And I'm just like, are y'all that desperate to go viral that you would partake in a form of public humiliation for views? It's not that important. Like, take it from somebody who's gone viral a couple times. To degrade somebody, and that's the way that you get your follower count up, I'm good on that. Spare me on that. I mean, even his sister was online saying she was worried about his mental health. He doesn't have his phone back. He's going to come out of the villa from this very positive experience and see, something extremely personal and private plastered all over the internet. Y'all talk about mental health, like, hello. So, like I said, I wasn't going to say anything about it because I didn't want to draw more attention to it. I didn't want to do that. But then I saw he addressed it. And I thought the way that he addressed it was really mature. He said, "What a way to get my phone back, y'all. I just want to address the content that came out from my past. That was something I shared to someone in confidence and trust. It's unfortunate that it's no longer private, but it is what it is." He went on to thank fans for their support. And then he says, "I'm so grateful for my Love Island experience. And I love you all for tuning in to watch my journey. I'm excited for what's next." I think that is like one of the most mature responses to something like that I've seen. I mean, it's not like I've seen a whole bunch of stuff like this, but I'm like, wow, that was really mature of Kendall. One statement surely isn't going to encapsulate everything that he is feeling. You could read that statement and think, oh, good, he's okay. Okay. But we don't actually know if he is. I hope that he is. You don't have to like Kendall on the show to know that like this is basic human decency being flushed down the drain, and we should not pile on this attempt at public humiliation. It's just my opinion. And honestly, if anything, it's made me, and I think a lot of other people, like Kendall more, like want to support him and like rally behind him and be there for him. I mean, I know I'm just a stranger on the internet, so it's like I'm not like his support system, but you get what I'm saying. Not further this narrative of let's embarrass Kendall at all costs because we didn't like him on the show. I've had enough of it. Okay. Let's move on to Janae and Kenny. Honestly, there's not much to say about Janae and Kenny post show because they're like two of the least dramatic people, I think. So they're not getting like wrapped up in the podcast drama and all this type of stuff. I mean, Kenny specifically is like the least dramatic person in the world. The only headline that's come out about Janae and Kenny post show has been people talking about Kenny putting in his bio, his Instagram bio, found love, and then tagging Janae. So like, let's hope that they're good. I love them so much. I feel like they're just one of those couples that you wouldn't expect. And I told y'all during the Casa Amor situation that Kenny was not a villain, that I was not about to sit up here and paint Kenny as the villain. I think Janae kind of overreacted a little bit when he came back from Casa Amor. However, I will say, if I was in Janae's position, I would react exactly the same way because you got to let your man know what is okay and what's not okay. You know, you gotta let them know. I'll let it slide this time, but don't get it twisted. It's not going to happen again. And you also, this might be my toxicity showing, but like, you got to make them sweat a little bit. I would do it. So I'm not holding it against her in any way. Let's talk about Leah and Miguel. Leah and Miguel's second place was pretty surprising to me. Obviously, it's because of the Leah stands, I want to say. But what I'm seeing from their post-show interviews is actually more telling about the status of their relationship than I think what we saw on the show. On the show, I feel like we saw them in like, you know, they were giggly around each other. They're obviously attracted to each other physically. But we didn't see this deep love. You know, we just didn't. Not saying that it's not there or that it couldn't potentially grow. It just wasn't necessarily showcased, right? But these interviews, especially these interviews from Miguel, they have this like profoundness to them, you know, because people are still shipping Leah and Rob pretty hard. And Miguel was reacting to that. He said this to Us Weekly. At the end of the day, I'm the one with her. There's a reason behind it. So whether you like it or not, suck it up. Me and Leah did connect in a way that's very different to how she and Rob connected. It really doesn't bother me at all. I know where me and Leah are, and we're in a very good place. Love that answer. He also talked to Rolling Stone. He said, I didn't want to rush things in the villa because I knew that the world outside was so different. I'm looking forward to going to LA and getting to see how she lives her life out there, and then hopefully see her come over to the UK. This is a one day at a time type of thing. I love that. Also, we got this little behind the scenes clip, and I don't know what they were filming. There's rumors of a spinoff. There's rumors of a winter vacation spinoff with these Love Island couples. I think it would be a smash hit, obviously. But there was also some B-roll of all of them sitting down at a restaurant together, being filmed, and Leah and Miguel were kissing. And, you know, this is outside the villa. This is after the show is done airing. So what they were filming, I think it's probably just some B-roll for the reunion that's going to come out next month. So yeah, we'll see about Leah and Miguel. I wasn't like the biggest believer that this was the one that's going to walk down the aisle, Leah and Miguel, but I love to be proven wrong. So I hope I do. Last but certainly not least, Serena and Cordell. What? No, we got to talk about Aaron and Kaylor too. So this isn't last. I love this journey. I love the journey that Serena and Cordell came through. You know, and I also just think they're both so individually likable as people that they were bound to win. Coupled up from the beginning, you know, such a journey. I think Serena had a lot of walls up. She had a lot of barriers that she needed to break down throughout the season. And that's real, you know, that's something that people really go through. And I prefer that because I know people were like, oh, Serena friend zoned Cordell so many times. But there's also people on that show that couple up and pretend to be head over heels in love with the other person so that they make it far in the show. And I would much rather have Serena be true and authentic to herself and say, I'm a slow burner, and say, you know, in hindsight, I was almost self-sabotaging because I'm not good at relationships. And I think it takes a person like Cordell to stick it out, because somebody like Rob, I don't think would stick it out, because they can have anybody they want. And not saying that Cordell can't, but I think Cordell saw what was there between him and Serena, and he didn't give up on it. And I really, really loved that. So I think that's why people liked them. You know, you can come back from hardship. It's a really transparent difference between Cordell and Serena and Aaron and Kaylor, how they kind of went through a similar situation in Casa Amor, but they couldn't have handled it more differently when they got back into the villa. One of them won, and one of them didn't even make the finale. So you can come back from these types of things. And, you know, I think especially in Love Island, people aren't villains on this show. It gets dicey because you're on this show to explore connections and date multiple people at one time. You don't necessarily know where the line is. I think we can all agree, like, Aaron crossed the line multiple times. So did Cordell. But at the end of the day, stuck true to himself, told Serena everything, was upfront and honest, and was able to build a stronger relationship because of it. So I really enjoyed this interview that they did with Vulture. I'm going to read some of the answers to that. So the interviewer said, there's a popular tweet that says, Cordell really came to Love Island as a boy and will be leaving as a man. Do you think that's true? And this is what Cordell says. He says, that's the truth. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. I did come in a boy, even though my mindset was already mature. Everything I did on the show was something that I would do naturally, but I do feel I left as a man because there's always room for growth. I have grown in ways that I didn't know I could grow. I loved that answer, and I agree wholeheartedly. I feel like we saw him grow throughout the season. They also asked, have you talked about what's next for you both? Are you going to do long distance? Are one of you moving? Serena answered this question and said, we've talked about it in the villa. We're both from Texas, but I've been in LA for a year now, and I've convinced him to move out there. So y'all are going to see a lot more of us. And then Cordell said, I've been trying to move out of Texas for the longest time, but it was either going to be Arizona, Miami, Vegas, or Vegas. LA wasn't on my radar, but I met her, so now it's on the radar. Stop. Stop. And that's how you know they're a couple goals. So keep Serena and Cordell in your thoughts and prayers, because my gosh, if they break up, I'm not going to be okay. Now, last but certainly not least, let's talk about Aaron and Kaylor. So they obviously didn't make the finale, but Kaylor was on the Viall Files this week, and she was giving a lot of insight on the state of their relationship. You know, she said that she kind of knew that in Casa Amor stuff was going to happen with Aaron because he's a flirt. He's flirtatious by nature. And so she's like, I was already worried about what I was going to see when he went there. Kaylor is aware of how quickly she took back Aaron. And I feel like people almost were equally as mad as, okay, this is how Aaron acted in Casa Amor, outrage. This is how quick Kaylor took him back, outrage, you know, and the two things coupled together, they just had no chance to kind of redeem themselves in public opinion. She said in the villa, it's hard to stay mad because you're constantly around each other. And Aaron is so charming. I mean, he's the golden retriever. He's said that himself, that you can stay mad, but you have nothing to do but sit there and look at each other and cuddle and go up into soul ties and talk about your feelings. So for however mad she was also excited to see him because all of those feelings were still there. And then, like I said, you have Aaron who knows how to talk his way out of anything. So that's hard. She said she was excited to see him come back single, but now we know that Aaron made a comment to Rob, hey, bring Daniela back. Oh, no, that might not be a good idea. It's either Rob lying on Aaron's behalf, because Rob did say that in his interview with Call Her Daddy. Like, yeah, he asked me to bring her back. But then he immediately said it was a bad idea. So who knows the truth about that? But the thought was still there. She did say she still has her doubts about Aaron. So how could you not after all that? I think we'll just have to see. We've all had an Aaron in our lives, you know, especially at 22 years old. Unfortunately for me, mine's name was also Aaron, so it's a little triggering, but who knows? They're still boyfriend and girlfriend at this current moment. She hasn't watched Casa back. She said she's going to, but she wants to do it with a friend. So TBD, we have a whole reunion coming up. Maybe something will change. The drama with Leah and Kaylor. I don't know if you guys missed this. Aaron was doing an Instagram Q&A, and Kaylor was heard talking on the phone to one of her friends, and her friend said something bad about Leah in the video. So Kaylor's talking to her friend on the FaceTime, and her friend says, no one's going to care about Leah in 6 months. And people were like, wait, what? Why are they talking crap about Leah? So Kaylor says, well, it was because I was talking to my friend about the white woman scared comment that has gone viral on social media because Leah said it during movie night. And now people are in my comments calling me, you know, privileged and young and pretty privilege and white privilege and all of these things. And she said it was starting to get to me. The overwhelming amount of comments was starting to get to me, and I was venting. Can we sit here and judge Kaylor for that? Yeah. Do people do it? Yeah. Have you ever had a vent session with your best friend? Yeah. So it is what it is. She said her and Leah squashed it and they're good. So I'm just going to believe that her and Leah squashed it and they're good. I'm having major withdrawal. I'm not okay. Like my brain is off balance. My hormones are off balance. I'm sad that it's over. Yes, I actually sat down and had a conversation at dinner with my husband for the first time in 2 months last night, but like I still feel sad inside because I miss them a lot, a lot. So we're holding out until the reunion, which is happening in August. So let's do final thoughts. Final thoughts. This isn't really anything crazy, but I just want to tell you like the ups and downs of the week that I was having. Okay. People like might look at this and be like, oh, Morgan, she's made it. I don't think you can ever make it, right? Because we're always like working to be better. I can pay my bills. That's pretty much it. Like it, and I enjoy doing what I am doing. But I'm just giving you an example of like the highs and lows of this industry. So before the season of Love Island came out, I connected with the PR people for Love Island, right? And they were like, hey, we represent all these Love Island people. If you want to have them on your podcast during the season, like, let's do it. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. So I was in there. And as you know, we had Liv and whatever. And I was like, wow, the show is blowing up, continue to blow up. And I'm like, I'm going to have the opportunity to have all these people on my podcast. And it could still happen. But like what I noticed this week is that I really got blown off for like the bigger podcast, like I'm seeing them on the Vile Files, on Call Her Daddy. I'm seeing them on other, people. I don't want to name names because I'm not mad at them, but I'm just like, I was upset this week because I was like, man, I like had the in and I feel like the show got too big for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the opportunity, like I was on their radar and I get we'll get back to you, and like that hurts my soul. And I'm like, man, and I'm grateful that I had Liv, like, don't get me wrong. And there's still an opportunity to maybe have them on like at a different time. I also have to understand like this season completely popped off and they're getting like E! News and Access Hollywood and Entertainment Tonight. So like, I get it, but I was just in my head about it and I was sad about it. And wouldn't you know that the moment that I like shed one single tear because it happened, I get this email. You guys, I'm scared. I'm not going to give you all the details. If you're subscribed to Bravo Friday, I am going to give you all the details and you'll hear the details soon enough. But would you believe it if I told you that me, Morgan, got invited to some event that's going to be filmed for one of our favorite Bravo TV shows? The Lord still does miracles, folks. If you haven't believed it before, believe it now. Because a full circle moment is going to happen for me where I'm going to be in it. I mean, I'm not going to be in it, like, let's be honest, but I might have to sign a waiver, which means that I'm like kind of important for however many hours that this event is. So I'll give you more details. It's happening very soon, so it's not going to stay quiet for long. But of course, if you're on Bravo Friday, you will find out on Friday. Okay? If you haven't left a review, please do so. A little 5-star boop boop, a little love you like assist. If you're not on the Patreon, what are you doing? We have Bachelor Tuesday, Celebrities and Pop Culture, Survivor when Survivor's on, and of course, Bravo Friday. So you can subscribe. The link is in the show notes below. If not, I'll see you back next week. And as always, love you like a sis. Bye.